Hey there, fourth trimester listeners. Our program today is proudly sponsored by Family Album, your secure haven for sharing baby photos and videos. Head over to the App Store today, search Family Album, one word, download the app, and start creating a legacy of love, one photo at a time. Hi, I'm Sarah Trott, and welcome to the Fourth Trimester Podcast. I'm a new mama, and this podcast is all about postpartum care for the first few months following birth, the time period also known as the fourth trimester. My postpartum doula, Esther Gallagher, is my co-host. She's a mother, grandmother, perinatal educator, birth and postpartum care provider. Fourth trimester care, our topic, is about the practical, emotional, and social support parents and baby require. And importantly, it helps set the tone for the continuing journey of parenting.
Welcome back, listeners. This is Esther today on the Fourth Trimester Podcast. Our beloved Sarah won't be with us today, but we have a wonderful guest, Melissa Hurt, who lives in Del Mar, New York. So we had to do some fancy scheduling to be able to talk with her today. I'm going to reintroduce her in a moment, but I just want to remind you that we have, of course, in addition to our podcast, which the feedback has been really sweet and lovely lately, everyone really appreciated the Visitors podcast, which I thought would maybe be a hard sell, but turns out it's not. I'm happy to say. But in addition to that, of course, we have our Fourth Trimester Podcast Facebook page, and we have our website, fourthtrimesterpodcast.com, which we recommend you go to for additional material and little updates here and there and text and things of that nature. Again, it's Esther Gallagher chatting with you today, and I want to reintroduce Melissa Hurt, who is going to tell you her early postpartum story and talk about a modality that she practices and teaches. And she is generously going to teach us today her modality. And I'm very excited about it. So, hi, Melissa.
Hi.
Hi, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
It's our pleasure. Melissa, go right ahead and tell us a little bit about you and your fourth trimester, and then we'll launch right into talking about this modality.
Great. Well, a little background on me. I am a certified yoga teacher and a LESAC certified voice, speech, and movement trainer. And so my world was all about feeling sensation and feeling good. And that's what I do for myself, and it's what I teach other people. And then when I had my daughter, I had her via cesarean, which was very difficult to recover from. And it was not in my original plan, but it just was what God gave me. So it was my plan, and I took it and I rolled with it. But the recovery was very, very hard. And what I did not expect was how low energy I would be physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and that recovery. When you have a C-section, I feel like you are forced to rest a little bit more. Maybe that's not the case for all women, but for me, I felt like I needed to.
Well, so I'm going to jump in right away, Melissa,
Sure.
and say that from the vantage point of my 41 years of involvement with the postpartum period, I don't want our listeners being having the mythology promulgated that if you have a vaginal delivery, you're necessarily going to feel better. And that if you have a C-section, you're necessarily going to need something more of something. It's all true that in the fourth trimester period, you require rest, nourishment, sleep, nourishment, rest, and a modicum of appropriate exercise. So
Sure.
Carry on. You are both correct and maybe enlightened.
I am enlightened. And I think that my assumption there was based off of how my midwives were preparing me for the C-section, because I was planning for a natural vaginal delivery, and then it just didn't go that way. And so a lot of that was just taking on what my midwives had advised me. But yeah, I thank you for sharing that. Absolutely. So in any case, I was staying at home with my daughter. She nursed a lot. I mean, a lot. And I did not realize how dehydrating that was. She needed to nurse pretty much, it felt like, around the clock. I know it wasn't until she was almost a year old before I got 5 hours of sleep in one chunk of time. And so just those first few months in particular were just very, very exhausting. And so a lot of things took a hit. I wasn't taking care of myself. I was not eating as well as I wanted to. I mean, sometimes when you're absolutely starving from nursing a lot, you're just grabbing what is in arm's reach in the fridge or in the pantry without having to reach up or bend over because you're holding your child. And so I was just trying to get by however I could. Well, one day I put my daughter down for a short little nap, and I was talking on the phone with my mentor for my LESAC certification. And we were just having a friendly chat, and she interrupted me and she said, "What has happened to your voice?" I said, "What do you mean?" She says, "Your voice has no energy. There's no life in it. You need to find your vocal tone. What happened to your voice?" I said, "Well, I'm just really, really exhausted. And you're right. My voice does feel really strained and it doesn't feel good. And I'm a certified trainer, so I should have known better, but that's just where life took me. I was feeling exhausted." And she said, "Well, you need to find opportunities to develop your voice again. Do you read to your daughter?" I said, "Of course, I read to her every single night before bed." She says, "Okay, do you play games with her?" "Oh, sure, all the time I play games with her. We do like stuffed animals and all kinds of little games together." And she was really enlightening me on all the things that I do all the time that were opportunities for vocal play and exploration. And a light bulb went off for me. And I said, absolutely, this is my first step to reclaiming myself and body, mind, voice, and spirit. And I was very thankful that she had said those things to me. And so right away, as soon as my daughter got up, I started humming to her, just humming a song that I liked so I could feel the vibration of my voice again in my mouth and on my lips. And I was yawning a little bit in the back of my throat so I could bring the vocal vibration forward, which just felt really, really good. And that little slight yawn, and we could all do it. It's that, I call it that office meeting yawn or the church yawn, or you don't want to be rude and yawn, but you really need to yawn. And so it's when your mouth is exactly. So it's when
you're lovely.
So your mouth is closed, but you're yawning. You feel that lift in the back of your throat, and your lips and your cheek muscles are moving forward a little bit to accommodate that space, but they want to stay closed. Well, just feeling that lift in the back of the throat will help bring the vocal vibrations forward, and it gives space, literally. So I was doing that a lot. And then I started doing what we call the Y buzz and the LESAC kinesthetic work. And so this is the tool that I wanted to share with everybody because it is such a therapeutic tool. It strengthens the voice without straining the voice. It optimizes your breath. So you have to breathe well to really do it and feel it. And breathing well is really the foundation of feeling well. And it focuses your voice forward in a particular part of your mouth that when you bring your awareness to it, it's very meditative. And so for me, who wasn't able to get a lot of sleep, finding those little moments of meditation were a way to give my brain some focused rest so I could restore myself and get on through my day and through my night even. So that's what I wanted to share was the Y buzz. You ready?
That's very exciting. I am ready. I'm so ready. I'm going to practice with you.
Okay, good.
And I am going to reassert for my listenership that, listen, if you're a new mom you and everyone around you needs to learn ways to sleep when your baby sleeps. Every time your baby sleeps. So all the things that we can do that are restorative are wonderful, but our brains need sleep.
That's the truth.
So often it's a case for people like you yourself, Melissa, like myself 41 years ago, like, lots of women in the busy world we live in that we're looking at devices, we're talking on the phone, we're having visitors or visitors are having us. And we're not being respected in our absolutely essential human need to sleep, and sleep in a way that meshes with the fact that we're the parent of a new baby. So I'm going to say it on every podcast if I have to, but figure out the ways in which you are going to protect your need for sleep. And you are going to educate those around you that sleep is the second thing after food, only after food. Right?
That's great.
In the midst of nourishing your own baby and healing and recovering. So let's get back to this why buzz. I'm very excited.
Okay. So as I said, foundation of everything we do is breathing well. And so we can feel that organically by imagining we have something we love to smell in front of us. Maybe it's a freshly baked cookie or a fresh brewed cup of coffee, or maybe it's the smell of your baby. I mean, babies smell amazing. And so you close your eyes and imagine you're smelling that thing with pleasure. So let's take a breath in like we're smelling this thing we love. And then sigh it out through your mouth. And you feel this little effervescent lift in your whole self when you find that sigh. And so we'll do that a couple more times. And as you pleasure smell, as we call it in the Lesek work, you're feeling the expansion of yourself. Your belly, your back, your sides, your ribs, your spirit, everything, it feels expansive. So we'll smell this thing we love and sigh it out with pleasure. And so this is an optimal breathing practice. We're not forcing anything. We're not tightening anything to access some great deep breath. We're just breathing naturally and breathing with behavior, because our spirit is connected with this, because we're breathing something that we imagine that we love. And so love and feeling good, those are always a part of what I teach people. And so then we're going to feel that office meeting yawn that I talked about before, that slight yawn in the back of the throat. So you can even feel that little lift in the back, that incipient yawn. And then feel as if you're about to kiss your baby or do a quiet shh, just quiet little shush. So you feel the cheek muscles moving forward and the lips moving forward. And so we feel that lift in the back of the throat and that forward moving action of the cheeks and the lips. Arthur Lesek called that the reverse megaphone, because there's that open space in the back of the mouth, and the cheeks and lips move forward to make that smaller mouthpiece. And so we feel that reverse megaphone. We also call it forward facial orientation. So that's our posture, if you will. It's not fixed. It's very flexible and dynamic, but it's giving space for your voice to move forward. So we're going to just feel some nice breathing with that forward facial orientation. And from here, just hum a song that you like in your speaking voice range. So just hum anything. And as you hum, you're feeling vibration moving forward on your lips. So Esther, can you feel vibration on your lips as you hum?
I can when I take that posture.
Yes, good. Because that lift in the back of the throat, it's relaxed a lot of muscles and it's allowed the vibration to move forward. So now we let the hum on an N consonant, as if we're saying 9. So Esther will keep humming as I speak. You'll feel the tip of your tongue making contact with the space just behind the upper front teeth, what's called the upper gum ridge. And so the tip of the tongue is making contact with the upper gum ridge, but the rest of the mouth is pretty relaxed, if you will. So on that contact point is vibration. So Esther, do you feel vibration on that contact point?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels great.
Yeah, it's very relaxing and it feels very good. And you might even feel that vibration is moving up because bone conducts vocal tone. It's like a natural amplifier. And so if the vibration is on that upper gum ridge, which is a bony surface, it will move up into the sinus cavity, the nasal bone, maybe even where the third eye is in between the eyebrows.
I was going to say, I feel it kind of up into my sinuses and even above them almost.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. So we're going to keep humming on the N. And now we're going to transition from an N to a Y. As if you're about to say yes. And you can hum on that Y and any pitch you like. Just get to feel that it's a vowel-like consonant. Just get to feel the sensation of the Y. And then as you're humming on the Y, let it waft down to where you feel vibration on the same place where you felt the vibration on the N. And it's sometimes as if you're alternating between saying no, yes. So just so you can feel that you're in the same location. No, yes.
Wow.
So do you feel
That's
a little
phenomenal?
Yeah, you feel that vibration on the Y in that same location?
Yep.
Yeah, it's very relaxing, but it's also energizing at the same time.
Mm.
And so
Kind
now
of
that
clarifying.
it is clarifying, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so as we hum on the Y and we found that little vibration on the upper gum ridge, we call it the ping. It's like a little ping. We're going to gently massage it with a yee. And we're staying on one pitch. We're just really tasting that Y buzz. And so that Y buzz, we're in what's called the lower third of the speaking voice. So we're not way up here like Minnie Mouse. And we're not way down here in the basement because that never feels good. We're in our speaking voice. And so I always like to test it by saying, hi, my name is Mommy.
Hi, my name is Esther.
Yeah,
Mommy.
We'll say Mommy, yeah, because that ends in the Y buzz.
Esther Mommy.
There you go. And you're there. I can hear it. I can hear it in your voice. And you feel that forward facial orientation. You have easy breath. And you feel as if you're floating through the crown of the head. So we're going to keep massaging that Y buzz on the one pitch. And then once you find that little pulse, then we can do little baby siren glides going up and down, but staying where the vibration is on that upper gum ridge. So we're exploring a vocal range within the Y buzz. Yes, that's right. And so we develop a vocal range there because we're not robots. We're dynamic, living, expressive human beings. And we get excited. We have emotion. We share love. We share concern. We share all kinds of things through our voices. And we have range. And so when we find this potent, resonant, warm tone, which is the Y buzz, we expanded into this range. So we have what we call a Y buzz-like current to our speech. And you feel it like a current of water moving forward. That Y buzz vibration just moves forward, and it's a wave energy that you can feel. At least I can feel it. Yeah. And so that's the Y buzz. And so I started massaging the Y buzz again. And when I would read books to my daughter, I would feel the Y buzz, like in the light of the moon, a little caterpillar ate a leaf, whatever the hungry caterpillar is that I read a million times when she was a baby. But as I was reading my board books to her, I was finding those little pings of vibration on the long E vowel. And that knew I was keeping my voice in that Y buzz-like range, keeping my voice forward moving, which meant I was breathing well, which meant that my posture was healthy. I wasn't collapsed in my throat or my shoulders, which a lot of times happened to me when I was super tired and not aware. So it just kind of kept me in check, kept me self-aware in a really healthy, loving way, and developed my voice back so that I felt spiritually renewed because I felt like myself again. So that's what I wanted to share.
That is so lovely. It makes me think of a couple of things, Melissa. And one is that there's always singing in my house. When we were little kids,
Yes.
Or even up into adulthood, like my dad loves to sing. My mom's a wonderful singer, didn't sing that much because she was always reading to herself, but my dad was more sort of moving around all the time and singing to himself or singing to us. If we came up and had a question or something to say, he'd pick up on something we'd said and start a song with it, a song from his vast, archives in his brain of all the songs he knew.
That's right.
Or if we stopped at the train tracks, he'd sing all the train songs or whatever. So, and it was just, and we were learning those songs, of course. He was teaching us those songs. But yeah, there is just such delight, like, and liveliness. You're otherwise just sitting there waiting for the next thing, and so much life in that. But what I'm really appreciating from this teeny little practice with you is also, of course, not only do I feel awake and clarified, but I feel like I can make good choices in this moment, like whether to lie down and rest, whether to sit in my posture, that I'm sitting in, whether to get up and feed myself, and I'm imagining too, like if I had a newborn baby in front of me, I could kind of clear out all of this sort of the physiological / emotional kind of turbidity.
Yes.
And just be more present with that little,
absolutely,
with myself vis-a-vis that little person.
Absolutely.
So how lovely this is. Really, really lovely.
Hey, fellow parents, can we take a moment to reflect on the joyous chaos that is parenthood? Those days when our hearts swell with love at the sight of our little ones and we're bursting at the seams to share every adorable moment with the world. But let's be real. Some things are better kept in the family, and your loved ones who matter the most aren't always close by, and they might not be that tech-savvy either. So how can you easily share your baby's beautiful growth with loved ones while keeping your precious memories secure? I remember the frustration of trying to use some of the big tech photo solutions, only to find they fell short of what I needed. That's when I stumbled upon something truly remarkable, the Family Album app. The Family Album app was created to give parents a secure and easy way to share photos and videos with loved ones. It's an orderly and totally secure haven for your family's personal memories. I love that there's no third-party ads, no unwanted eyes, unlimited storage, and that it's totally free. So to all the parents who are out there still trying to use other messaging apps for your kids' photos, it's time to level up your family photo game with a free photo sharing app. Head over to the App Store today, search Family Album, one word, download the app, and start creating a legacy of love one photo at a time.
So, Melissa, you have a web presence, as we like to call it nowadays, I guess.
Yes, I do.
Could you tell our listeners about maybe a little more about what you do in your professional life, shall we call it?
Sure.
And tell people about how they might get in contact with you.
Great. Yes. Well, in my professional life, like I said, I'm a certified yoga teacher and a certified embodied voice, speech, and movement trainer. And so really the way I kind of nail that down is I help people feel well. And in particular, right now, I do a lot of work with prenatal and postnatal yoga and embodiment practices, because in my experience with the women that I've met, we're all just kind of making this up as we go along, right? There's no like
life.
supreme handbook, right?
Yeah.
And so, and a lot of a commonality that I hear is the surprise of how tired they are, just trying to like pull things together to make it work day by day. And so I try to offer strategies and practices just to help them get through moment by moments, whether it's why buzzing, whether it's a breathing practice, whether it's a meditation they can do while they're nursing or bottle feeding their baby, or whether it's pelvic floor explorations. I mean, whatever it is, just things that they can do that in short little snippets of time to get sensation back into themselves so they take care of themselves, but also restore themselves in mind, body, voice, and spirit. And I do think that complex is synergistic. I think that when you nurture your body, your mind, and your spirit are there. If you're humming or singing while you do it, your voice is there too. This voice practice we just did, we're also breathing well. So that's nurturing our body and our mind and our spirit. And so there's a synergy to everything that we do. And so I share that with my students. So my website is www.melissahurt.com. And I have a blog where I try to share different kinds of teachings that will help people with a multitude of different concerns, or maybe give them some new ideas on how to approach something. I have 2 voice classes that I hope to be launching in January, so stay tuned on my website for that. And I'm a writer. I actually have a book on Arthur Lessack's work as an embodied acting practice, published through Routledge. And I have a picture book coming out with Sounds True Publishing in spring of 2020. That's a yoga picture book that I'm really excited about. So I've just got all kinds of different ways to share these teachings with people, whether it's in person or through my writing. And I did want to say one thing about your story, Esther, about your dad singing a lot. Singing is very, very restorative, and it absolutely lifts the spirit. And Arthur Lessack used to say, when you speak, do you feel like you're singing? And so why not?
That's a great question to ask.
Yeah. Why not feel like you're singing when you speak? Because if you can feel the musicality of your voice, which all voices are musical, we're always speaking on different pitches and different rhythms and tempos. And if we're feeling the sensation of our speech as we speak, then we're feeling percussive instruments and sustainable instruments that we can hum on. And so it's almost like we have an orchestra in our mouth, and we're the conductor of all of it. And it's really, really magical. And so if we can feel like we are singing when we're speaking, then we will stay connected in body, mind, voice, and spirit, regardless of who we're speaking to.
Sure. And, I myself, as a student, am involved in an authentic movement and authentic voice practice. I'm just a baby student in it. But what I want to add to what you're saying, and I hope this is appropriate, is that, let's not just think of baby songs when we imagine singing. Like, let's think of opera, like where there's all the drama and authenticity of what's being experienced, felt, like when we express ourselves, we are entitled to be emotionally coherent.
Yes.
Meaning our voice matches what's really going on. And we're not talking like everything's okay. We're not using the everything's okay voice when everything isn't okay.
Right.
It doesn't mean we can't learn to contain and express in ways that are effective.
Right.
It just means we don't lose the authenticity of what's happening. And I think that's what you're talking about here, Melissa, as well. When you talk about feeling, sensation, and dynamic living and expressive beings, and all of this wonderful language that you're using with your wonderful voice as we're here. Yeah.
And I think also I totally agree with what you're saying. And as a mom, I find that, first of all, I never did baby talk with my daughter. Even I never said, do you want a cookie now? I just would say, would you like a cookie? I just speak to her like I speak to anybody. And I feel my vocal tone as much as possible. And when I get in a moment that's a little heated, let's say she's like really pushing my buttons and not doing something I've been asking her to do a million times, I'm so thankful that I can feel my vocal tone, because all I need to do is kind of yield more into that vocal tone and maybe open up that space a little more. And then I get closer to what we call the call. And I'm not shouting. I'm not screaming at her, which is a loss of control and very scary for her, scary for anybody. But instead, I am actually more grounded and I have more vocal resonance. And she can feel it and she can hear it. And she knows that mommy's grounded, mommy's looking at me. And I'm very intentional with my voice. And so she knows that I mean what I'm saying and I should listen to mom. And so it's really valuable for me. And I'm so thankful that I know this work so that I can keep an emotional valve system, if you will, through my voice and stay authentic and connected to my expressive need without completely losing myself. Because that's when we feel really scared, I think, is when we get lost in anger or anxiety. And then our voices get really creaky, or we lose track of them, or we're not breathing. And when we don't feel our breath and we don't feel our voices, we start to not feel our bodies. We don't really feel our groundedness anywhere. And then it emotionally becomes very scary. And so it's very important to, again, feel your breath, feel your vocal tone. And it really can guide you through a lot of different moments where you can stay connected and stay grounded with who you are and be true to yourself and true to your needs and not lose yourself in it.
Yeah.
I hope that makes sense.
I think it makes sense. And when I think in these terms, I think about kind of going back to something that is intrinsic to animals that have a voice. Like, animals know how to use their voice authentically. And if you're a human animal, you're existing in a world that does many, many things on a daily basis to subtly control you and your voice in ways that don't serve you, in ways that don't support and nourish you. And so finding a way to kind of cut through all of those little micro diversions and micro controls that are part of the world we live in, especially for women.
Yes.
To be able to come back to the thing that's true and authentic and use it in our authentic expression is wonderful. The fact that we often have lost sight of it, as you described in your own story, Melissa, in the exhaustion and overwhelm and confusion and wounding of being a new mother, right? Your voice was eroded. To be able to just have a way to say, wait, I just have to get back to this thing. And it's a simple embodied practice.
Right.
And when I do it, I can connect.
Yes.
This is a wonderful gift. This is a wonderful gift.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And you feel it pretty instantly. I mean, it's not something you have to put 40 minutes in the bank to then begin to feel something.
Right. Yes.
You can just start humming and breathing and then find that why buzz. And once you feel it, you're hooked into it. It's there for you. And I think also what you're saying that really resonates with me is I did lose my voice physically and metaphorically when I had my daughter, because I feel like when you have a baby, it's such a confusing time, because here I was before I had my daughter, and I was Melissa Hurt, the professional. I was the wife. I was a daughter. I was the friend. And then I have this daughter, and I'm a mother, and I don't know who I am as a mother. I'm figuring that out. So I haven't found my voice in this world as a mother. I'm reading a lot of stuff that's telling me what I should be doing and what I should be saying. And I'm trying to take that in and see if any of that lands on me. But I need to find it for myself. And when you find your physical voice, I truly believe it helps you find your voice with a capital V on who you are, what you need to say, and how to be clear with yourself on like what you need in this world and how you can share that with other people.
Yeah.
It all kind of comes back around.
Yeah. I think it's a wonderful, wonderful, simple teaching. Very, I don't know what it'll be like for other people, but it was immediate for me. I could connect up with it very simply and well, and I'm grateful for it. I'm really pleased that you shared this with us and taught us how to do it. So
I'm so happy that I had the opportunity, and you can read a little more about it on my blog, and people can always contact me through my website. I am very approachable. I'm a nice person. So please email me if you have questions, and I'm happy to shed light on anything that we talked about.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Melissa, again for coming on the show, being with us today.
It was my pleasure.
Yeah. And listeners, we have lots of podcast episodes. So do go, however you listen to us, whether you subscribe on your phone or kind of follow us through Facebook or whatever you do. Don't forget that we're now up to like 60 plus episodes. Like we've been cranking them out here for a couple of years. It's pretty great. If you can find it in your heart and your budget, we would so appreciate your subscribing to the podcast. If we just got $1 for every podcast that people listen to, we'd get out of the red zone. We do this for love, for sure, but it'd be nice not to be in debt either.
That's the truth.
So everyone take care in the meantime, and we look forward to seeing you and hearing from you on our next sojourn into the 4th trimester. Tell all your friends, not just the pregnant ones. They're the ones who need the care. It's everybody else that needs to learn how to give the care. Okay?
Yes.
Take care.
You can subscribe to this podcast in order to hear more from us. Thank you for listening, everyone, and I hope you'll join us next time on the 4th trimester. The theme music on this podcast was created by Sean Trott. Hear more at soundcloud.com/Sean Trott. Special thanks to my true loves, my husband Ben, daughter Penelope, and baby girl Evelyn. Don't forget to share the 4th trimester podcast with any new and expecting parents. I'm Sarah Trott. Goodbye for now.
Hello again, bicycle man. I know you're doing all that you can. I wrote the song, simple and true. I wrote the song, I'll sing a song for you. You got your wheels, you got your gears. You ride around town without any fear. You got your pedals, you got your brakes. You always wear your helmet for safety's sake. Hello again, bicycle man. I know you're doing all that you can. I wrote the song, simple and true. I wrote the song, I sing a song for you. Hello again, bicycle man. I know you're doing the best that you can. I wrote the song, simple and true. I wrote the song, I sing a song for you.